diligent search are all of your efforts to find as many relatives and connections as you can for youth in foster care. And that includes identifying, locating them, and contacting them. One of the first things I like to do is to talk to the youth themselves directly. Do you have a photo album that you could share with me? I'll ask who each person is, and then I can write down those names, ask them who's important to you, who's in your life right now. If I could find anyone, who would you want me to find? I also really like to talk to the youth birth parents about who is in their family tree. We have some excellent tools to use online. I recommend using everything that you can to try and find people. You can find lists of names and addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, social media accounts. Just by doing basic searches online, obituaries often list family and relationships and the whereabouts of those people. You're going to find a lot of people who could be related to a child. And I always recommend reaching out to every single person. So I start with sending a letter. So I like to introduce myself, what I do, and say, I'd like for you to give me a call. If I don't hear back from them, it's not necessarily because they're not picking up the phone. They could just be not calling me back. They could be talking to each other to figure out a game plan on how to address this as a family. Sometimes I'll get callbacks from lots of people saying, how can we help? Or I'm not able to help at this time. But those phone calls, when you're talking to people, are also a part of this process because you're asking some really important questions. I do all the outreach efforts that I possibly can. I follow up with emails, and I'll send a message on social media. And I found that with doing all of that work, although it's incredibly time-consuming, it's worth it, and it works. You're taking a baby step toward permanency. You're creating a possible attachment and getting someone involved. And that really is a big deal. I met Maddie when she was 12 years old, living on a farm with her foster family, and told her what I do, that I look for as many family members and connections as I can. And I asked her, who would you want me to find if I could find anyone for you? And she said, my dad. I've never met him. So I walked away with that information and I started my work. I found him using these search methods and my online tools and conversations. He called me and was hesitant at first. But it turns out that all those letters that I sent to every single family member on his side of the family were received 2 weeks before a big family vacation. They went on the vacation together and were talking about it. They really supported him and encouraged him to meet her. So after his vacation, he called me again. And he said he was ready. Around that same time, heard from a couple of other family members, including his brother and his wife, Anton and DJ. So I was able to drive Maddie up to see her dad and her aunt and uncle for the first time. And when she met her dad, it was really cool because she resembles her father. After those visits, I talked with everyone and they said, we really want to do what's best for Maddie. So her father thought about it, and although he really wanted to be there for his daughter, he couldn't make it work. So I let DJ and Anton know that it wasn't going to work out for Maddie to live with her dad, and they said, we want her. What do we have to do? And that's where she is now, living on this farm with her pre-adoptive family who are her relatives. There are two major challenges that I've really come across. The first one being negative biases from the people on the children's team. People get really worried when they hear that I'm finding people who the kid may not know. And they say, where have these people been? They should have reached out sooner. I don't think this is a good idea. So I like to educate those people to overcome those biases about how it's good to just get the information. The other challenge that I come across are false promises. I'm finding those family members who are very excited about their young family member and wanting to be connected, but then falsely promising to them that they're going to show up because it might not work out right away. I really like to help families slow down. This is the long game. We're going to work on this. Let's take this one step at a time. With Madison's case, One of the biggest barriers that I had was getting buy-in from the team to reach out to her father and her father's side of the family. It was really hard for the team to wrap their minds around me reaching out to this family who had never been involved. When I talked to DJ and Anton, they said, "We thought that she was safe with her mom and we wanted to be respectful." But when they heard from me and they knew that Maddie needed help, they stepped up right away. And so when I was trying to overcome that barrier with the team, I said, let's just get the information. If we decide together as a team that this isn't gonna work, then we're not going to do it. But it's better to have the information to know what the options are. We had to make sure that when we're talking to the paternal relatives, that we're making sure that they are going to show up when they say they're going to, that they are consistent. And DJ and Anton did just that. They did everything that was asked of them. They jumped through every hoop, and I think they're going to continue to do that forever through adoption. I sent out so many letters. Her family tree is huge, and I reached out to every single person. Those people I did hear back from, there's a lot who are currently involved in her life. She has an aunt who likes to take her turkey hunting. She has another aunt who will have her over for weekend visits so she could see her brother. She stays in contact with her prior foster parent, and I was able to create new relationships for Madison on her father's side of the family. She's getting to know these people for the first time, and it feels really good for her. Diligent search is absolutely crucial. They deserve someone who's spending the time to find as many relatives and connections as they can, and to have an opportunity for permanency and adoption.